It's the E-commerce Master Plan podcast, here to help you grow your e-commerce business faster and more efficiently by cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and guidance from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello, Masterplan world. Awesome to have you listening in. Welcome to the third podcast in our 2019 e-commerce Masterplan growth series, sponsored by Omnisend, the all-in-one marketing automation platform that empowers e-commerce marketers to boost sales with omnichannel tools. We've got a very varied selection for you this year. I know you're going to find it really useful, so make sure you listen to them all. There's 10 in total, numbers 191 to 200 on the podcast. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Chloe Thomas. I'm the creator of the e-commerce Masterplan. I'm an author, speaker and advisor, and I focus on solving your e-commerce marketing problems. If you have an e-commerce problem you would like my help solving, then head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/solve to find out more. I know we get a lot of new listeners finding us during these shows, so if you're new, these are a great place to start. And if you head over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, you'll also find a link to our top 10 most listened to episodes of all time, which is a great way to start delving into the back catalogue. Today's episode is the first retailer interview of the series, and in this episode we get a masterclass in e-commerce growth from one of Australia's cleverest e-commerce brains, covering a whole host of topics, including conversion rate optimization, remarketing, SEO, and abandoned cart. Quite frankly, do you need the rest of the episodes? Well, look, before I introduce you to our guest, we should really hear a bit about our sponsor, as without them, this series would not be possible. Omnisend, marketing automation platform tailored for e-commerce. Omnisend provides sophisticated omnichannel marketing automation tools for sales-driven marketers that have outgrown generic email marketing platforms. Engage your customers and boost your e-commerce sales with dynamic emails, text messages, Facebook Messenger, and retargeting ads on both Facebook and Google, all from one platform. Try Omnisend for free for 14 days. Just visit omnisend.com/masterplan to get started. I'm really excited to be chatting with Dave Diamond today. He is the e-commerce brains behind several different businesses in Australia. Originally, he was the founder of Colour Blocker, which is a source of drop-shipped products for sellers. In 2014, he founded Zoomy, growing it to a 7-figure turnover and to be Australia's #1 electronics interest-free retailer. He recently sold his interest in Zoomy, and he's now working with a number of e-commerce businesses, including CactusWatches.com, who are Australia's favourite kids' watch brand. Wow, we're going to have a lot of different things to talk about because I've barely scratched the surface of Dave's experience in that intro. So hello, Dave.
Hey, Chloe. How you going? Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so pleased to have you on here. So thanks for agreeing to do the interview. Now, I've given our listeners I always say it's a very quick overview, but today it's like there's so much I've missed out in your intro. It's insane. And I know you're up to so many different things, but just tell us a bit more about you. Tell us a bit more about your e-commerce journey and explain to us how you got started off in e-commerce in the first place, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, I think it's, probably about 15 years ago. I was in the ad industry for quite a while as a creative director, so involved in design and copywriting, and then decided to get out of the ad land and travel around South America for quite a while. And on returning, was unemployed, but started having a look at what was going on in the Flash group deal sites, and noticed that products were slowly coming onto the deals. They were quite boring products, and I was always one to scour the webs for cool new items, and decided that maybe this could be a way for me to jump into the online space and potentially sell items sourced from China. So I ended up actually finding a couple of cool products that would cost me around $1 or so, made of silicon and could be sold for around $10 and shipped in an envelope.
Nice.
And that's what happened. I ended up setting up a website called Color Blocker. I'm actually colorblind, which has been a bit of a tricky situation. But
I'm impressed you made it in both Adland and with a business called Color Blocker. If you are colorblind, that's seriously impressive.
Yeah, I know. Don't ask me about it, but I still have to use codes with everything I do. Anyway, so yeah, set up Color Blocker. Tried out pretty much every single e-commerce platform under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
A total sucker for trials. So we went from OpenCart to Magento to PrestaShop to you name it. Eventually we had Color Blocker, which was a brand that was essentially about curating cool, colorful, unique, and useful products that were affordable for people in Australia to purchase.
Nice,
and that's what it was about.
And so, Color Blocker started off selling via the deal sites, like Groupon, etc. And then, did you start selling direct as well? So that's exactly what happened. So we set up Color Blocker, and we were contacted by some of the big deal sites, and had some products that we ran through a few flash sales. One of our first products was a really cool iPhone stand, which I ended up calling the Beach Horn. And that ran live. I remember the day. It was one of the first products we had go live on a deal site. And I think we ended up selling about 5,000 units in a space of 12 hours. And that's pretty much what enabled me to kind of, move forward in the e-commerce space. I didn't know how on earth we were going to get those products out. But thanks to DHL and my grandmother, mother, sister-in-law, wife, and living room, we ended up, spending hours just packing items from our living room, eating dinner together, and getting these items out. And I guess that's one of those moments when you're like, thank goodness it's all the same item, because otherwise this would be far more difficult.
Yes, and also colours were randomly selected.
Oh, good move. Very good move.
Yes. And so, posting items around Australia is always quite tricky. So always focused on the lighter items and things that could never break. So silicon was my favorite material of all time and still is.
And so when you finished at Color Blocker, or what came after Color Blocker for you then?
So Color Blocker, as I said, it was we still focused on supplying products to the deal sites, but as time went on, we decided to really focus more on the real retail side of things and offering a range of products to Australian consumers that were looking for unique products. And I had a great eye for products that weren't yet in Australia. This was a time when eBay was pretty much the main go-to for shopping. Alibaba and AliExpress wasn't really around, and I was a big fan of a site called Fab. I'm not sure if you remember, but
I don't remember that one at all.
Fab was almost exactly what we wanted Color Blocker to be. It was a site that curated, well-designed products and focused entirely on curation and, providing customers with an experience, not just products, but, gave them like a good feeling when shopping online. And that's what we wanted for Color Blocker. We wanted to really kind of provide people with products, but, give them that sense of going into a, exciting shop and having a great experience. Sorry. Fab, actually, I think they ended up raising 150 mil.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think I ended up raising probably about $150, which is a little bit different. And I remember signing up to their email list before they'd even launched and just watching these beautiful crafted email campaigns come through my inbox. And yeah, it was a pretty new concept. So I was a big fan of that. And then it was like even valued at around 1 billion or something ridiculous at one point. And this is why, while I'm like, I'm trying to build Color Blocker. Here's Fab. They're valued at 1 bill. I'm kind of selling similar products. What do I do? And that's a big thing when you start comparing yourselves to others online. I really try.
It's a dangerous thing to do, isn't it?
It is. Anyway, they ended up dropping to around 15 mil a few weeks later, and I don't think they exist anymore. So Color Block is still around, thank God. And while we were busy, finding great new products to offer to our customers, I ended up actually finding someone over in China, which I'm extremely humbled to have worked with until this day. So we've actually got a office in Shenzhen, which which helps us out with a lot of our sourcing, QC, and product delivery for wholesale. Which is great. And I'm a big fan of Shenzhen myself. So it's a really good place to be. And especially if you're looking at, private labeling, you kind of got to be on the ground. So I've been working with someone over there for about 7 years now, which has been an absolute blessing.
It's so much easier when you've got a good contact, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, and I still to this day have no idea how it's happened.
Well, there has to be a good portion of luck in there, I think. So let's talk about Zoomy. How did you end up going from silicon-based products to interest-free electronics? Sure.
Well, as I said, I've spent quite a bit of time over in Shenzhen, which is the Silicon Valley of Asia. And it's, it's just like a tech wonderland. And I always had an idea. I've always wanted to build up a brand of consumer electronics that were affordable, but had the same standards, quality levels as some of the top brands out there. And after personally, visiting the factories where products like, Bose and Sennheiser created, I noticed that, these factories were producing, unbelievable products. And I, really wanted to kind of get our own brand out there to Australians. Australians who couldn't, go for the $500 pair of headphones, but still get the same quality. And that's where Zoomy originally started. We did develop a couple of products initially. So the brand was developed. I started that on Shopify, which was the beginning of my love affair with Shopify.
I'm glad you said that, because I was thinking, you said you tested all these platforms. Which one won? So it was Shopify for you.
So Color Block is still on Neato, which is an Australian e-commerce platform. The reason why it's still on Neato is it does give us access to FTP. It's got a great export wizard. But yeah, Shopify is probably one of my number one companies in the world. And I just, every day I just fall deeper in love with them. The App Store is incredible. Their design, they've just got everything you need. And I've now become a partner with them. And I refer every Tom, Dick and Harry to Shopify. If they're in e-commerce or they're not yet, I just tell them, give it a shot. Go for it. See what you can do.
Excellent. Well, look, guys who are listening, if you want to get a great deal on having a go at Shopify and giving it a test, then just head to ecommercemasterplan.com/Shopify. Okay, so Dave, we know you're a Shopify lover. We know you are on this mission to bring good quality, reasonably priced electronics into Australia. How did you manage to, become number one in the category and grow to 7 figures in just 4 years?
Yeah, so that's quite an interesting question. I don't really know exactly how it happened, but there are a couple of things that I can point out that I've learned along the way.
Awesome.
The first thing was I never realized how powerful payment solutions could be when it comes to conversion optimization.
Because you went for interest-free, didn't you?
Yeah, so I actually spent some time working with Zip. They're one of the leading providers in Australia for buy now, pay later options
cool.
at checkout. Yeah, which is in today's society, millennials are obviously moving away from credit card and looking for, a more flexible way to shop online. So back to Zumi. Yeah. So, we wanted to really kind of put together and curate a site, which was, I guess you can say, a fashion boutique for tech electronics. Which, didn't really exist. It wasn't like going into a big box, retailer. We wanted to select, the products that we knew were top end, reviewed them, and give everyday Australians an option to buy them today and pay later. And that's where Zip Money came in. And yeah, I was just blown away. When you give your customers multiple options to pay, they generally will. You really need to think about, how people are spending their money online. And offering solutions like Zip allows them to actually, purchase quality products today instead of going for the lower budget products. So it's an investment, and at the same time, they get the flexibility to pay it off, interest free. And then, with the whole explosion of Bitcoin, which, everyone kind of got involved in, either earlier or too late, like my father-in-law. But I was a big fan of Bitcoin, so we introduced BitPay onto the site as well. And, really kind of honed in on focusing the payment gateways as a, enticing factor to shop at Zumi.
I find it really fascinating that that's what you kind of worked out 4 years ago, because in the UK we are just in kind of the last 6 months and just really starting to talk about the importance of payment methods to get the sale, and the whole try before you buy or buy now, pay later is just starting to bite in the UK. It's so I think a lot of our listeners are quite fascinating listening to how it made such a big difference in your business.
Yeah, well, I definitely think that the kind of try before you buy, the reverse lay-by concepts like Afterpay, and in the UK you've got things like Klarna, I believe.
Yeah.
In the States you've got Affirm. Zip is kind of like an all-in-one digital wallet, which allows people to actually get approved almost instantly at checkout. So when they're checking out at Shopify, they just check out, log in with Facebook, and they get approved pretty much instantly. So you've captured that customer. They've got a digital wallet. They've got an account. So
you can very confidently shift the goods, being pretty confident you're going to get that money.
Well, that's the beauty. So when it comes to the merchant, there's some huge positives. Number one is that funds are settled immediately the same day. All the fraud's handled by the facility. another, I mean, like, I can just go on for days, but like, it's something that converts browsers into shoppers, full stop. If people are umming and ahhing, and, they think they should purchase something today, it's on sale, they don't want to lose out, they can use their Zip account or whatever it might be. It's a massive, winning point when it comes to, Black Friday deals, and people don't want to miss out. And then, when it comes to like even like abandoned carts, like I'm a huge fan of abandoned carts. Like I think 7 is not even enough.
You'd send 7 abandoned cart emails?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, I'm just trying to be nice. People, get a lot of emails in their inbox all the time. So, and we want to make sure that they, don't lose out on, what's in stock, because, with Zumi, they're high ticket items. We don't carry a lot of stock. I've always tried to run a lean ship. So yeah, I think just, letting people know that, we still got some stuff in stock, and, unless they get, irritated, which we really don't find they do, especially when you're like kind of informing them, hey, you did leave something in your car, but you can pay later for it today. So you can actually get the product today and pay over time according to, your needs.
And I suppose the product that Zumi's selling is very much a considered purchase a lot of the time, isn't it? So it would make sense people stick it in the basket and they have a think and they have a think and they're still having a think. So it is actually going to be a customer service to send the messages. But have you done anything other than email for abandoned carts? Facebook ads or push notifications or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just getting into it. So, obviously email marketing's huge. I've just actually gotten my teeth into Klaviyo, which is awesome. But so, you got your email marketing. Push notifications is something I'm a little bit hesitant to try, just because I'm not hesitant, but I've just got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah, it's finding the space, isn't it?
Yeah. Same with Facebook Messenger, chatbots and all that. You kind of got to, pick and choose what you want to do. But remarketing. So people that have come to your site and, really taken a look at a product that, might cost a good few $100s, remarketing to them on, Facebook using, terms like come back, shop today, pay later, interest free is, a massive way to get them to come back and shop. Especially if they've already got their account approved. They literally just, come back and check out with Facebook. Like that's it. It's like, it's as simple as that. So that's another winning strategy.
So Dave, I've got just to see where we got to here. I've got 3 big strategies you learned growing Zumi so big so fast. One was payment, one was abandoned carts, and one was remarketing. I reckon we've got time for one more before we head into the top tips round. So what's your 4th big piece of advice for everyone listening?
So I think the 4th piece of advice is actually probably my number one, which is what really allowed us to kind of stand out from the crowd, cut through, and take on, some of the bigger competitors in the industry, selling, the same kind of brands. Like I thought it was impossible, but the way we did it was with our SEO strategy. So, I actually ended up kind of going all in with our SEO focused around our payment solutions on offer. So whether it was, interest-free finance, pay later options, want to pay now, pay later for your Xbox, going for the long tail,
and all around those payment methods.
All around those payment methods.
Wow, so I've never heard of anyone doing that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so essentially, we were going for, we were actually getting people who were searching for products to pay, for in a certain way, which is, like you can't get more specific than that. So they were landing on our site, on our products, and we offered them that service with that product. So our organic traffic was, almost up to 60%, which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I could say that, don't underestimate the power of SEO. It's not as scary as you think it is. Just kind of think outside the box when it comes to, optimizing your keywords.
All right, Dave, you've just given us 4 brilliant pieces of advice. We're now going to move into the top tips round to see if you can give us even more advice. So I love this section because it gives me and our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our businesses to the next level. So Dave, the first one is the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
That's a pretty tricky question because I'm a total sucker for books. I try and read at least one a week, but I'm generally reading about 5 at once. When it comes to business strategy books, I tend to move away from that and go podcast all the way. For that, I use Overcast, which is a great app. You can listen to podcasts at, 1.5, 2 times the speed, which is awesome. And, what better way to get, business advice and tips than actually hearing, the experts themselves, chat. And, you almost like today we have the privilege of like literally sitting in the same room and listening to the experts in the field talk about whatever it is. But some books that I can recommend that I'm loving at the moment, I would say definitely, I know this is one that's probably come around a bit too often, but if it wasn't for Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, I probably wouldn't be able to have run Color Blocker and Zoomy as I have done so, because I've, really taken, using VAs to another level and, being able to run a lean kind of machine. So definitely the 4-Hour Workweek. How to Win Friends and Influence People. You got to read it at least twice, I think. And I need to do another rerun of that sometime soon. Homo Deus, actually, not business related, but it's insane, by Yuval Harari, the same guy who did Sapiens. And I'm just about to finish Nudge and Daring Greatly, which is, well worth a read as well.
You've just given us so many ideas there, but I can't, after that glowing point of view on podcasts, I can't let us move on to the next top tip without you giving us one podcast recommendation. So which podcast shows, obviously, other than this one, has got you really into it at the moment?
Yeah, so look, I'm a big fan, obviously, of yours. Kurt Elstar from the Unofficial Shopify podcast. He's a legend, so I listen to his stuff quite a bit. I kind of mix it up a bit. Like I listen to James Altucher, Joe Rogan. I go through it all. Cool. Rhonda Patrick. So yeah, whatever it is, I just try and kind of listen to the stuff that I don't want to listen to. It's like me trying to read fiction. I'm trying to read fiction all the time, but it's just not happening.
Cool. Okay, let's move on to the traffic top tip then. Which marketing method, Dave, do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
Okay, well, I am all about organic. Paid ads are definitely not my thing these days. So SEO by far. You can compete with the big boys using SEO strategies. Some tips for ways of, really kind of killing it with SEO is, using Google as the number one tool. So, just search for whatever it is that your customers might be searching for in Google. Have a look at what, the competitors that are paying for ads are using, what key terms they have in their ads, and just really just copy it and appropriate it, make it better, and put those in your titles. And don't forget, Google has autocompletes and search suggestions. They're always great to include in your content.
You're so right. There is just so much you can learn just from the Google search engine itself. I'm so glad you mentioned that one. Right, the tool top tip. Maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
Oh, you know what? I look for that every single day. I'm still scrolling on Product Hunt as we speak. But, as I said, Google. What can you do without Google? Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google everything. With working together with guys overseas. So we have Google Sheets, Google Docs, commenting, calendars, big fan of Google. Trello and Asana use occasionally, but yeah.
It's all about the Google.
It's all about the Google. I guess I could say just try not to use too many apps. I think that's the biggest problem.
Focusing is a good move, isn't it, when it comes to the tools? Actually commit to some.
I'm a big fan of Feedly, which is great for just, keeping up to date with some, the great blogs that are out there, and also Pocket to save some articles when you want to read in your free time.
Cool. Okay, the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
Well, I'd probably check in with them to see if they really want 1,000 orders. Like, do they need 1,000 orders to, be as profitable? Maybe they could do it with the 100 orders that they've already got by increasing their AOVs, things like that. Because scaling obviously means, more overheads, working capital, more risk. For me, I'm kind of, really risk averse. So I'd definitely say have a look at that. But going back to payment solutions, definitely offer payment, like whatever payment method that's available out there, because you don't want people coming to your shop and not being able to buy something just because they don't have one credit card that you offer, or they don't have a PayPal account, or whatever it might be. Just look at what's worked in the past and just, focus on that.
Great advice. Yeah, again, I love the fact you challenge the question too. I think you're the first person to do that, and I think that's a top piece of advice. Right, Masterplan World, you can find all those top tips and links to all the many, many tips and tools that Dave's been chatting with me about today by heading over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, where you will see a link to the show. Now, Dave, before we say goodbye, I mentioned very briefly in the intro that you're currently working with a range of e-commerce businesses. If anyone wants your help and wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
No worries. Well, you can hit me up on LinkedIn. So it's just my profile is Mr. Dave Diamond on LinkedIn. I am working on my own, WordPress site at the moment. So that's should be up and running pretty shortly. It's just davediamond.co. And the email is contact@davediamond.co. If you want to check out colorblocker.com.au, you can get in touch with us there if you're looking for help, sourcing products or looking to get started, drop shipping. Hit us up over there. And the Cactus Watches as well. Keep an eye out for that one. So if you're looking for, a Christmas gift for the kids, check it out.
I love it. I'll make sure there's links to all of those things in the show notes. Masterplan World, you can find those at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast, or head to the website, click on the podcast tab, or use the search box. Dave, you have been an absolute legend today. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I've got so many ideas from our chat. I'm sure the audience will be brimming over with ideas too. So thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Chloe. I really do appreciate it, and it's been an absolute pleasure and honor.
Oh, I love it when I get to kind of do almost like a masterclass chat with someone who's been there, done that, and Dave certainly has. Such great advice. Such an interesting story too. But those 4 key points he was giving us around payment methods being a great way to improve conversion rate optimization. His a fascination with abandoned carts. I can't believe he's taken it to 7 emails, but hey, if you don't test it, you never know. Remarketing on people who are still considering that purchase, especially on Facebook, is what he mentioned. And then the 4th one, which he said was his number 1, was to get that correct SEO strategy to really take over the category space. And then, man, I can't even repeat all the many, many great recommendations he gave us during the top tips section. I hope you've enjoyed this interview from our 2019 e-commerce master plan growth series, sponsored by Omnisend, the all-in-one marketing automation platform that empowers e-commerce marketers to boost sales with omnichannel tools. There's 10 episodes in all, numbers 191 to 200, so make sure you check them all out. The whole point of this series is to help you grow your business in 2019. And that's also the point of the virtual summit I ran back in September. If you missed that, there's still time to get involved. It's over 20 expert video sessions, and in each you'll learn about a different way to improve your marketing. Think of it like a conference that you can tap into whenever you want from wherever you are. And there's a very special offer for podcast listeners that you can get by going to ecommercemasterplan.com/summit176. So that's ecommercemasterplan.com/summit176. Have a great week and keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Master Plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com.